Look, this is not my first rodeo, and you can trust me. I wouldn't try to sell you something that I didn't believe in myself. And I have to tell you, the folks who wrote They Say, I Say know what they're doing, and their product is a good one. I wouldn't be selling you something cheap. I wouldn't be selling you something shabby that wouldn't work for you. You can trust me on that. Now, I have spent years acquiring phrases, introductions, transitions, little lead-ins that tie what I want to write or say into what someone else has written or said, both for academic and non-academic purposes. And I want to tell you something. Suppose instead of taking years acquiring these phrases and lead-ins and transitions and ways of appearing to know what you're talking about, what if instead of taking years picking those up subconsciously, you could acquire them in a matter of hours or less just by drinking from this cup? No, it's not snake oil. It's a procedure. And you can have this simply by buying this product and believing in it. So let's take a quick look at what this says. Maybe you thought you were doing a solo act all along and you wrote, I believe, in my opinion. Well, that's all great if you're preaching from a pulpit or if you're going it alone, but you're not. You are in a complex, fascinating conversation. So instead of the old business of, well, that's my opinion, or I feel, or I believe, we strike those phrases from your vernacular and instead build in all kinds of very slick and clever ways to allow you to enter the conversation, the discourse, the civil discourse. Well, frankly, much of which has been completely missing when we have people who try to shout other people down and make wild, aberrant, absolutely indefensible claims without any kind of support for them. You probably know who I'm talking about. All right, so if you were able to use words and phrases like on the one hand and on the other hand, author X contradicts herself and at the same time she argues, she also implies, oh my heavens, look what happened to your tone. It shot up into academically credible and civically credible in terms of discourse, your approach. And all you did was take from this product. So what are you doing? You're stating your own position. And I say a position, not an opinion. Just a distinction which may help here. Opinions we tend to think of as, oh yeah, I believe that, or I think that, and that just came into my head, or maybe I've held it for years, but I'm not questioning it. Position tends to imply, I have thought about multiple sides of this issue, and I have chosen this position in response to multiple sides of this issue. I'm not operating in a vacuum, and that's what this product is all about. So, this whole business of using little catchphrases that we find on a certain popular and absolutely idiotic propagandistic news program that says, well, look at, and so on. Those cliches have nothing to do with arguing with evidence and with reasoning and weighing in the balance what opposing arguments have said. And at times, and this is what we call Rogerian, at times accepting some tenets of opposition arguments and incorporating them into our own. And those that we refute again, not because, well, I think, or I'm going to vote, or I'm going to operate this way. All right, so here we go. I can't go through all of this. It's going to be up to you. But look at page 8, ways of responding. You see, you have all of these ways of responding that you can integrate into what you write, what you say. These are called, by your book, again, these folks have your best interest in mind. These are called templates. What's a template? Well, you know what a template is. It's simply a form. It is something, in this case, that you can plug into your thinking and writing that makes it appear to be knowledgeable, smooth, correct tone, right level of language, something I've had to comment on very frequently. So, isn't this plagiarism? Well, that's a question asked in the book. No, it is skillful appropriation. You're not taking whole huge chunks of what someone else has written. You're taking little mechanical pieces that you plug into what you write. In essence, the metaphor is putting in your oar. But your oar doesn't operate in opposition. So we get to chapter 1, and I can't do all of this. Obviously, there's a limit of time. I can't do it all. But it is dependent upon, oftentimes, what others are saying. That is the most important part of the whole business, not just, oh, this is what I think, and I'm going to get that out there, and so on. Not even your mother buys into that. No. So we have templates for introducing what they say, and I can't go into all of them, but suffice it to say that you have all of these tools at your disposal, and I wouldn't take advantage of you if I didn't believe that these folks have plenty to offer. Then we get into the art of summarizing, and it is an art. It is an art. I have stated before, unless you can put it into your own words, you don't know it. You don't understand it. You can't converse with it. Now, when I say your own words, I don't mean misrepresenting what someone else has said. And I don't mean putting it in language that somehow twists or skews it or makes it appear to be simpler than it is. I mean actual effective paraphrasing, which we have worked on. Okay, templates for introducing quotations. I've received all kinds of papers where quotations were introduced not at all, by nothing, simply slammed into the body of the essay. No. Right? Get rid of old tired ways of doing things, one of which is this paper will discuss. Oh, please spare me that kind of tedium. Save it for some other ivory tower that has nothing to do with fluency. We do have something to do with smoothness, fluency, vocabulary, level of language, appropriateness, all of those really good concepts that reinforce. Then we get to I say. Yeah, see, the I say is in reference to what they say. And so finding what they say, or if you can't find it, and I've stressed this before, if you can't find in print what opposition arguments are, that's fine. Imagine them. That's right. It could be argued that, whatever the argument is. Wow. So, yeah, we could argue about masks and not masks and all those kinds of things, but not without reference to opposition arguments, right? So, there we go. Agree, but with a difference. That is a wonderful way of looking at it. We call it sometimes subordination. That is, although X argues that masks must be worn to alleviate the pandemic, comma, quote, and then you put the rest, right? This has to be balanced against needs of the economy. Now, I'm not buying, believe me, I am not buying into any of that with all of the deaths that we have suffered. I'm just saying this is a way of acknowledging the legitimacy of an opposition argument. At the same time, you are laying the groundwork for picking parts of it apart, for refuting parts of it. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that and bid you good day and hope that you are able to wrap your head around all of these techniques that took me years to acquire, because you can acquire them in a matter of hours or less.